For the third year and counting, Richard Skipper has been celebrating the artists you love.
And what are some of the things that you've really
run out of time, and we've got to talk about your latest. I want to go back a little bit, first of all, and celebrate a true legend.
Richard Skipper is all about celebrating life, art, and his guest body of work.
And did you pursue performing opportunities while you were in high school?
Please join us while he showcases these diverse and talented individuals. Here's Richard Skipper.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. And this is the Friday wrap-up. So who or what are you celebrating today? I know that there's a lot going on in the world right now. God knows there's a lot going on in the world right now. But my hope is that for the next hour, myself and my friends that are joining us today, and I've got 6 very exciting friends waiting in the wings, that we're going to help you for the next hour. Hopefully, try to forget. We don't want to forget completely, but try to take a deep breath and focus on a little bit of positivity in the world. So I want to begin today by asking who or what are you celebrating? And about 4, 5, maybe 6 years ago, I was doing a little PR, and I had the good pleasure of doing PR for an incredible singer and pianist, Teresa Eggertson Cook. There she is. I told you to be ready. You never know who's going to come on. And she reached out to me recently, and she said, I'm going to be back in New York. And it's Utah, isn't it?
Yes.
You're in Utah. And I saw this gorgeous picture of all that snow, which you can keep because we've had our fair share of it. And you're with Deborah, and you're both going to be performing at the Triad. And I have here a flyer. So I, unfortunately for you, I guess, am no longer doing PR, but we are going to talk a little bit about your show. But before we talk about the show, my show is now Richard Skipper Celebrates. Beyond the show, I want to ask what the two of you are celebrating beyond that. And you can flip a coin to see who's going to go first.
Oh, Teresa. Oh, come on. Okay. Well, I would be today, if I were to say today what I'm celebrating, would be my 17-year-old daughter who has been struggling in ski racing for the last month. And yesterday she got 3rd place and she was amazing. And I've never seen her so happy. And that was the best thing ever.
I am so glad. And I'm so glad that you said that. I mean, 3rd place is nothing to be ashamed of. Our word for today is competition. And I love that. That's the word. I pulled that word today. And I was speaking to a friend. We convene every morning and we have a word for the day. And I said, that's the word we have to think about. Who is our competition? Who are we competing with? And she's, Richard, you're not competing with anyone. But I think that I like to compete with myself every day. I want to be at least, I always say, 1% better than I was the day before. So that's my goal every day. And Deborah, what about you? Who or what are you celebrating today?
Today I'm actually celebrating one of the people that is in our show, because she sang this beautiful anthem at the end of the show. And one of my friends from back east, she's trying to put together an event for the International Day of Women on the 8th. And she's choosing one of the songs from the show that this little girl sings. And it's a beautiful little anthem called Alleluia, Alleluia, I am free. Alleluia, Alleluia, I can still find my own destiny. And it goes on with, did we come from Adam's great family? Are we meant to be great ones at all? Do my brothers, sisters choose to love me? It would be nice to know when I fall. Is the road to glory filled with tears? Is it worth it to fight the good fight? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I am free. I can still find my own destiny.
Wow. Wow. And this is Women's History Month. So
Yes.
this is perfect. I begin my shows with a random question, and I've pulled a random question for today. I haven't even looked at it. So I don't even know what I'm going to begin with. So you two are, and believe it or not, I'm not making this up, March. My segues are bizarre, but I'm going to go there anyway. March is National Adopt a Rescue Guinea Pig Month.
Oh,
So, you two are going to be my guinea pig today because you, before I ask everyone else this, but it gives them a chance to think about the question. And the random question for both of you today is, what's something you did as a child that your parents still retell their story, this story about?
I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Am I answering?
Yes.
When I was little, if anyone stopped and offered me candy, I would go anywhere with them. In a car, on a walk, on a bike, to the pool. And it used to just absolutely freak my parents out. If they offered me candy, oh, sure. And they still tell the story all the time.
Well, I hope nothing bad ever happened because of that.
No.
Thank God. That's good. And Deborah, your story that they retell?
It's not very funny. It's really more about how I wanted a piano so bad. They couldn't keep me off of the piano. And so they said, well, we're going to rent a piano for 6 months. And if you practice, then maybe we'll buy it. Boy, I think I practiced more than at least 2 hours a day. Yeah. And that's how it all started.
And that's how it all started. Well, we're going to bring on another friend who is also a great entertainer. She also has a show coming up. I will bring her poster on so she knows who I'm going to bring on. And that's my friend, Jenny Lynn Stewart. And she is the Manhattan Diva. And this is all about diva power today. And she is on the other side of this poster. And here she is.
Hello.
Jenny Lynn Stewart. Vision in red today. So welcome. And so Jenny, who or what are you celebrating today?
I am celebrating actually my concert that's coming up at Lincoln Center on April 30th, which is that concert that was posted. We don't have posters and everything ready for that yet. That's why Richard posted that. I'm celebrating that. I'm celebrating the fact that I have a gift from God and I'm still able to share that with people.
That's great. That's great. And what is the story that your parents tell from your childhood that is still the story that they repeat?
You know, when I heard you ask the other women, and I thought, man, I don't remember anything as a child that they said. The only thing I do remember as an adult, they always kept talking about hearing me sing Climb Every Mountain in The Sound of Music. So that's what they did. My parents are deceased now, but that is what they kept talking about. And my dad would say, wow, you sir can hit those high notes.
Wow. Well, this Sunday will be 20 years since my father passed away. So did your parents get the chance to see you perform as an adult, or did you lose your parents earlier?
Oh, no, they did. They saw me on tour in The Sound of Music. Yeah, several places in the country. Yeah. And
so what was their experience of seeing you perform? And as an adult, they saw you sing those songs, and then they lived to see you sing those songs as an adult.
They were proud, particularly because my father said, you shouldn't be doing this. You're never going to have two nickels to rub together. I think that was the thing that he would always say.
So, Jenny, where are you from originally?
I'm from Michigan. Yeah, from Michigan. I grew up in Detroit proper. I went to Cass Tech High School, and then I have a degree in television and radio from Michigan State University and voice performance from the University of Michigan. I'm a real Michigander.
Well, I want to keep this diva power going by bringing on one of my favorite people on this planet, because this woman truly lives on the edge. And she proves it every Monday night because she has her own podcast, which live stream, and you all, her show, she has the best guest, which causes me to keep continuously raising the bar on my own show. And who's on your show this upcoming Monday night?
This woman who I'm celebrating, Joan Michaelson, she's fabulous. She is a speaker, she is a coach, and she also has her own podcast, The Electric Ladies, that talks about women in sustainability, all related to climate, sustainability, innovation, that all is related to climate change and climate awareness, and ESG economy, which is environmental, social, and government economy. Just trying to get people to move into a more purposeful business understanding and social understanding. She's awesome.
And since this is the Friday wrap-up show, let's talk about who you had on this past Monday night.
This past Monday night, I had it did not happen this past Monday night. She's been rescheduled. Unfortunately, there was a glitch, but she has been rescheduled. So let's just pretend she was on.
Okay.
Because I love her. I absolutely love her. And we were so frustrated, speaking of technical glitches.
Oh my God, I had one of those.
Oh dear lordy. Yeah, it's really frustrating. Anyway, I've got her book right here, The Plan. And her name is Lynn Recitas, and her claim to fame is she's come up with a protocol to find out how you have inflammation in your body. Her big quote is, no calories, chemistry. There's no such thing as healthy food, just healthy food for you. And, COVID was, for me, the perfect storm of stress eating and sadness and wallowing and menopause. So there was all of this change in my system. And so I knew her before this, but I really turned to her book and really kind of got things started to turn around in terms of all of, getting on the right supplements and getting that going. And so her information, and it's not just for women, obviously, it's for everyone. It's finding out, because inflammation causes not only weight gain, but disease.
Now, can we talk a little bit about your little haven that you have in the Catskills?
My little hand, I would love to. I tried to get the virtual picture behind me. I couldn't figure it out on this platform. So I'm tuning in from the Catskills right now. I'm also in Harlem, but on my property, I have 1,000 square foot, separate from my home, garage. That is fantastic. And I have turned it into the quintessential salon space. And I have painted it purple, hence the name The Plum, this rich, glorious purple. I filled it with a couple of antiques that we've had. I've got chandeliers, the real deal, crystal chandeliers from the 1960s that were given to me from owners and producers at a theater with whom I've worked in New Jersey. I've got a lighting system that was put in by a New York City lighting designer. I've got a sound system. I mean, it's not enormous. It is a garage after all, but but it's enough. And I've got a stage, and I've got microphones and mic stands and a bar and the whole 9 yards. And the goal of it and how it weaves in with the podcast is the fierce conversations that happen in salons, in the history of salons, that women created salons, and that people that were invited in to have these deep conversations were told to leave their titles and their hierarchy at the door, that the playing field within these conversations, both men and women in the 17th and 18th century, even field.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, what was the story that your parents repeated about you as a child that they perpetrated into your adult?
My father didn't do any of that, bless him. But he listened to my mom do it. My mom was always fascinated by the fact that I was so shy as a kid, and I appeared to be not so shy because I could go up on stage and do a lot of different things. and seem to be very outgoing, even though I am indeed an introvert, extroverted, but an introvert. But she would tell the story that I would march by myself at home. I would march into the kitchen and announce with my hands on my hips that I was here on a mission. And then I would go out into the world and cling to her, like hang on to her leg. And so, I mean, talk about an edge of every day. Those extremes, she would always marvel at that.
Now, I also want to mention that in addition to being an incredible entertainer, which you are also a minister. You are a reverend. And our next guest is not a diva, but a devo. And you mentioned lighting. And this man lit me many, many times, and is a very well-known reverend in Norwalk. And that's Reverend Sean Moniger, who has been on this platform before, not on this show, but on my Creativity in the Age of COVID show. And Sean, I am so thrilled that you're here today. And I want to ask you, who or what are you celebrating today?
I celebrate. You know, I thought I've been thinking about it because I've had time to. And I've had so many opportunities to say yes today.
That's great.
It is. It's wonderful. You know, I think the nature of spirit is yes. And I want to participate in the nature of spirit.
And I'm glad you said yes to me. And
instantly. It's like, oh, how about that? Richard wrote to me today and said, would you like to be on my show? Happy birthday. And would you like to be on my show? Yes, I would.
So I just had a birthday. Jenny, you just had a birthday. Am I, Sandra? When is your birthday?
April 15th.
You've got a birthday coming up. Teresa, when is your birthday?
October 3rd.
And well, you're an honorary Aquarian.
I'm Pisces.
Pisces, I know, but we're all swimming in the same pool today. Those cheese fish that are out there. And what about you, Deborah?
August 22nd.
Oh, wow. So I want to ask before we bring on our next guest, and there's an interesting segue that I'm going to go into it before I bring Jack on. There's been a lot of craziness going on in the world right now, but I'm going to do a little round robin type of thing. And I want to ask, Teresa, you've already mentioned about your daughter, which is amazing accomplishment this week. Name another highlight of your week, whether it be a book that you read, a movie that you saw, a show that you went, or a personal accomplishment. I want to celebrate those as well.
Wow. Let me think. Today's Friday. I have to think back. Oh boy. Let me think. Well, that's hard. When you're a mom, your days are sort of the same all the time.
Well, can I say something? That's an accomplishment.
Yeah. So, I think probably my biggest accomplishment was making sure that Karina, my daughter, was confident and ready to go and no longer afraid, and that she could do it. And that was sort of a daily thing. Every day we would talk about it. And I'd check in with her. And, with a 17-year-old, it's tough because they don't always want to talk to you. But she's pretty good. And that's probably it, because I think just checking in with her every day made a huge difference.
That's wonderful.
I guess that would be for this week.
And Deborah?
I guess for me, this has been a week about celebrating family, and I'm just so grateful for it. My show is so much about family, and I'm widowed, and there is a lot in the show that's really about this stormy relationship, and then I just came off of my honeymoon this week with my new husband.
Oh, congratulations.
And got to talk to my daughter in Ireland with her 3 kids and spend a little time with my son out here. And I just felt like what a wonderful family week. And at the same time, I was able to be in New York last week on this honeymoon and work on my show with the director and the music director. And it was just to celebrate that family was involved in that process with me is just.
And speaking of which, who's the cutie in the background?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I didn't know that she was photobombing.
No, it's okay. She can come on camera.
That's actually my granddaughter.
Oh.
Cadence.
Well, hello to her. That's fine. No, she can come on camera if she'd like to.
Cadence, do you want to come in?
Want to come in?
You can.
She's coming in.
You can come in and say hello. Come here. And Cadence is 6 years old.
Oh, I love that. Cadence is her name. Hi, Cadence.
Cadence likes to perform. Can you tell them what you like to sing?
Jingle bells.
Jingle bells.
Oh,
Cadence, do you want to sing for us?
You want to sing Jingle Bells for them? You want to? Okay, here we go. Oh, you got to get up so they can see you in the camera.
Okay.
You have to
Stand right there.
Right there. Make sure they see you. Here we go.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, far and away. And Jungle got away. Hey!
Yes.
yay.
Now that's worth celebrating.
Yes. Thanks. We'll
I
let her
love
go
that.
back and get back to her lessons. We're at the music school.
Yeah, we're at the
right
music
now,
school.
So.
Oh, that's good. Well, Cadence, thank you so much for
Can you
that.
say you're welcome?
You're welcome.
You're
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Jenny, is that how you started out?
Pretty much.
So what was a highlight for you this week, Jenny?
Well, I had something. I was thinking about there was something funny that kind of happened. Well, kind of it did happen. I was going to Birdland to cast party Monday night, and I had been there 3 weeks ago. And I looked in the mirror in the ladies' room, and I thought, Jenny, you look like church lady. I don't think it's okay at church, but I don't know. So I dressed up in a nice black pant outfit to go to cast party this past Monday. And I get there and I go to change my shoes and I realized I didn't have any other shoes but my stark white running shoes on. So I was like, oh boy. Well, anyway, Jim said I couldn't go on my stocking feet on stage. I had to wear my shoes. So I get up on stage to sing my song and he looks down at my feet and he said, wow, those are really white. And and kind of joking about it. And so then I told the audience the story, what happened. And so this woman from the audience screams out, yells out, way in the back, I have the same outfit on. And she comes running up on the stage. And indeed, she's in the black outfit with the stark white shoes. And so I think they took some pictures of it. They said, okay, now Bevelyn, model with these shoes. And so it was funny. And I had to think a lot about what to sing. And I ended up singing Happy Talk from South Pacific and just saying that in this time, we just need to keep our minds as positive as possible and think of hopeful things. And but the whole deal with the shoes, it turned out to be fun. I was embarrassed, but
Wow.
it ended up being fun. So
That's great.
Yeah.
And what about you, Sandra?
Well, I'm celebrating the movement forward with climate reality understanding. I, in addition to bringing on a bunch of climate-oriented people onto my show, I'm also doing a climate cabaret with a woman named Chantal Bilodeau, who runs Climate Change Theater Action. And I literally had a meeting with her today about next steps, and we've hired people from the city and from up here to be in a performance. And she told me that she is writing a play for me that has to do with climate change. It's a one-person show, and she's writing it for me in mind.
Wow, good for you. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Unbelievably amazing news.
great. Is it a musical?
No, it's a straight play.
Oh, wow. That's
Although who knows what I might be able to weasel in there.
Who knows? Who knows? And what about you, Sean?
Well, I know it may sound self-serving, but it's really a great celebration because I didn't leave high school voted most likely to have the life I'm having. And we got on the calendar for Crazy Cocks in London. David booked the David Friedman show over there, and we're bringing Karen Mason with us and then
Oh, I
Alison
know.
Dyer from over there to do an evening of David Friedman songs. And there's a surprise special guest who I'm going to do borrowed time over there, and it's a new experience for me, and that's what I keep looking for. What are these new experiences so that I can prove to everybody, if I can do this stuff, you can do it.
No, you don't need to prove to anybody. Just do it.
Well, I do need to. For my profession, I need to prove it. I'm a minister.
Well, I am going to bring on our next guest. How many of you have been to Provincetown? Well, I'm sure you've been to the Post Office Cafe or Tin Pan Alley, and there's Jack Kelly. You've got light behind you, so that's going to wash you out a little bit, but you've got this inner light that's going to make you grow, Jack. So, Jack, I saw the other day, and this impressed me, and I saw that you were doing this before I was reading that anyone else was doing this. Perhaps there you are. We're giving a little bit more light there. But the idea, whether it came from you or you started the movement, but you were one of the first people that I was reading about that started removing all of the Russian vodka off of the shelves at the Post Office Cafe.
Yes.
So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It was really important. I think that it's so troubling, as you know. We're all suffering and sad, and it's so awful. And, I was just thinking, what could we do to help? And it came to mind, so I just kind of ran with it. And it's been amazing because Penny's Liquor Store, which is the biggest liquor store in P-Town, has done it. Quite a few other people from out of state have called me and said, what should I do? What vodka should I do? And it's been really amazing. And so then me and my husband that night decided we wanted to do more. So this Saturday and Sunday, we're giving 10% of our sales for the whole day and all night. We're gonna send it over to them as well. So anyone that comes in tomorrow or Sunday, we're giving 10% of our sales are going directly over.
God bless you. And how can people pay that forward beyond your establishment?
I don't know. I mean, I think what I am hoping is that what happened with the vodka is a lot of people jumped on board, and I think maybe, in the restaurant business, maybe more people do it. I know Club Cafe called me and they said that they're going to do the same thing. Club Cafe is in Boston. It's a huge club in Boston. And they're doing Saturday night, they're going to give all of the proceeds of their door. They're going to send that over. So I was hoping by me and my husband Paul doing that other places might do what we did with the vodka and jump aboard and maybe donate 5% or 2% or whatever they think is. I think just sparking it and getting it rolling, other people will hopefully jump on board as well and do something that they think that would work.
Well, I saw today on Twitter, not on Twitter, but on Instagram, someone was calling Airbnbs in the Ukraine. Did you see this?
Yes.
And renting an Airbnb and just giving them the money.
Yeah.
So that people would have places to stay.
And that's a brilliant idea. I think that's I think people have to just think outside the box, and maybe not even necessarily that far out of the box. For us to donate 10% tomorrow and Sunday really isn't that far out of the box. Just think about what you can do and just do it. I just think it will just help everyone feel better, even if it's, whatever you can think to do, you should do,
And Sean and Sandra, you both talk about tithing and everything, and and I'm all about paying it forward. I think it's something that's very important for all of us to do, and there are ways of doing it in many aspects of our lives. Do you have ideas or suggestions on how we could all be paying it forward right now?
As far as paying it forward, I think what we have to do is know what we want. And nobody wants to hate anybody. So let's stop talking about the one we hate, the one we're afraid of. Let's stop bashing and start praising the good that's happening. and let that start to be the consciousness, because otherwise we just can keep living in hate, and we keep being a victim, we keep being afraid, and that just empowers those who are doing harm. We want to empower those who want to rise up and above this.
Mm-hmm.
And so let that be our conversations. And it's a difficult thing to do, and it's frustrating at times because, oh, I hate him, he should be this. It's not about killing the enemy. It's about bringing everybody else to life.
Well, at the risk of sounding like St. Richard, I can honest to God say that the word hate does not cross my lips.
I believe you, but how many people are displaying hate?
I know, exactly. But I see it. I see it happening, and but it's something that we all have to, we have to walk the walk and talk the talk as well. And Jack, you're a perfect example of that. So kudos to you. Beyond that, what are you celebrating this week? And what is the experience like for you being in Provincetown off season? Like, I can't even imagine what it's like. I'm reminded of the song, from Grey Gardens, Another Winter in a Summer Town.
Well, it's funny. What I'm celebrating now is the end of the winter. Not that it's over, but now that it's March, we're gearing up and getting ready for the spring. So I've been spending a lot of time on the phone with people that are coming on board for the season to perform. We have a lot of people coming back that were here last year. Last year was our first season owning Post Office Cabaret. And we have a lot of new people. But the exciting part is just talking to them and them being excited and us being excited. It's too early for, to hear all the saws and seeing the buildings being painted, and everyone's kind of still in hibernation, but we're starting, the spring awakening is happening in P-Town for us via phone and organizing and getting excited. I just got off the phone with Joan Mcdaniel last night, who I just met him this past season. He
also just had a birthday, so happy birthday, John.
Yes, he just had a birthday.
Yes.
But I had just met him this past season. He had accompanied Melissa Manchester at the post office, and we became
also just had a birthday.
But we became fast, great friends. I adore him. He's the sweetest man, I swear. And so he's coming on board, and we just talked about it last night. He's going to do a fall series. He's going to do 3 weeks and bring different people in from Broadway that he's performed with. And so we're excited about that. So that was like a really great conversation I had last night. He's going to do 3 weeks in September and bring different Broadway, people in. So.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's worth celebrating. Well, I've got some fun questions that I just want to have about the week we've had, and just to wrap up the week, I guess, on a great note. And I'm going to, I began by this question about that story perpetrated by our parents. But I'm going to start with you, Teresa. What is the best quality that you inherited from your parents?
Wow. Well, I don't know if I don't know if people would call it the best quality, but I speak my mind, and I don't play passive aggressive anything. And that was my dad. My dad was very straightforward, very honest, always believed that everyone deserved a chance, and everybody has good in them, no matter their situation or who they are. And he was, and I believe that, and I've always never been afraid to say something if I believe it's wrong. And that was my father, and I think that's what I got from him.
Well, I think that's an admirable quality. I think that's worth celebrating.
Yeah.
Deborah, in which part of this week did you find that the time went the fastest and the slowest?
Oh boy. The fastest was every day trying to get my to-do list done, get this show together. And the slowest was probably driving to get to the next appointment.
Well, that means that you really wanted to get there.
Yeah.
Yes. But take advantage of those slow moments. Jenny, are you a pet person? And if so, do you have any pets?
I love dogs, and I don't have any, or I don't have a dog. My sister keeps saying to me, "You need to get a dog," and I said, "But I can't take care of it. It would be at home alone a lot, and that's not fair to the dog." But yes, I absolutely love dogs.
Well, I'm going to London in October. Would you like to take care of my dog for 2 weeks?
Well, I might be able to do that.
So there may be an opportunity there for you.
Yes.
Sandra, what is the most important action that you took this week?
Oh, which one to choose?
That's good that you.
Yes, it is good. Probably. The most upbeat and the depthful is probably to not give in to the insanity that's ensuing in the world right now, and to continue to choose to have my fierce conversations with my potential guests and with people that I want to network with who want to lift each other up. So
good for you. That's great. Sean, are you, brothers and sisters? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have a couple of brothers.
Okay. And which sibling do you think that was the favored one with your parents?
Oh, me.
And why is that?
I was the youngest.
Okay.
Still am.
Okay.
And
I still am.
And so I spent more time with them.
Okay. That's great. Wonderful.
But I'll tell my brother, my oldest brother, who didn't like me when I was a little boy, sent me a birthday card this week. Really fast. I'll read. Lucky to call you brother, proud to call you family, grateful to call you friend.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great.
That's a big deal for our family.
Oh, that's incredible. That's great. Jack, what have you lost this week that you would most like to retrieve?
What? I'm sorry.
What have you lost this week that you would most like to retrieve?
I don't think I've really lost anything this week, to be quite frank. I think I've tried to stay strong. I'm trying to get as much strength as those people over in Ukraine have. I think they're amazing. So
Absolutely.
When I start to get a little bit whatever, I try to build myself back up and really live in the moment and try to be happy and excited. I'm not gonna lie, I had a tough week last week with the whole thing, but I think I've just been watching the news and trying to build strength from what they're going through and build off of them. So I honestly don't think I've lost anything this week. I think I've gained a lot of strength and security and trying to move on and doing the things that are right now because there's so many bad things going on. So I honestly don't think I lost anything.
Good for you. Great answer. That's wonderful. We're back to you, Teresa.
Okay.
Whose thoughts would you have most liked to have read this week?
Whose thoughts?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm thinking. You know, I would like to have read, and this goes back to the Ukraine thing, all those women's thoughts trying to get their kids out of the country. I just can't even imagine what it is they think constantly 24 hours a day. It just makes me want to cry.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the thoughts I would like to know. Even if it would be hard to hear them, I think that it's important that we hear the things that they're thinking about their families and their husbands and their sons that have to stay and they have to go and the whole thing. So
I was watching the news the other night, and there were two young boys. They are young boys, 18 and 19. Boys. You know, I came to New York when I was 18 years old with my whole life ahead of me. And I just see these boys that their dreams, their hopes, everything, you know, they can't go after the dreams that they want to go after. So I can't even imagine. I just pray for them.
But on a happy note, I was watching the news, and those border guards in Poland grabbing the children and hugging them and giving them toys, and that is the best.
Yes.
That was the best to
Yeah.
see how happy the kids were, even though despite what was happening to them.
Yes. Deborah, you're putting a show together. Putting the show together, what was your biggest aha moment this week with your show?
That it could be a one-woman show that I had not designed it to be.
Wow.
And when the director and the music director said that I really needed to go there with it, because I'm doing this show with Teresa as previews for her album that she just put out, and then this show that I've put in. And so it's a condensed version, but I'm doing it as a preview for when I do it in Carnegie Hall at Weil Hall on Valentine's Day next year.
Wow. Good for you.
And so that was the excuse me, that was an aha. Yeah. And so we'll see.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Much success with that, by the way. And Jenny, what was the best question that you asked this week that propelled you forward throughout the week?
Well, I have to think about that. Because I'm busy. I asked a lot of questions. I think the best question I did for myself was to write a letter to my higher power and asking for direction of how to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Good for you.
Beautiful.
I love that. Sandra, what did you not like doing this week?
Saying no to potato chips. No.
I've been saying no to potato chips since July.
Enough. No more stress eating. No. What did I not like saying no? Well, I don't want to. I'm not going to share that. Saying no to. Actually, I had to say no to somebody being on my show, but overall, that's the only no. And that's a great thing. That's a really great thing that I have been saying yes and feeling like there's all of this movement forward and not no.
Let me ask you, was this someone who reached out to you to be on the show?
Yes.
That's difficult. I know.
Yeah. In fact, I wanted to talk to you about that, actually.
Well, call me later. Let's talk.
Oh, okay.
Because that is a difficult conversation to have, and I'd like to know. I'd like to know how that went. Please call me. Sean, what scares you most, or maybe I don't know. What scares you most about? Well, this is an interesting question. I don't even know if this is an appropriate question for you. I'm going to find out.
Yes.
What scares you? What scares you most about your profession?
Oh gosh, it's being present.
Wow.
Being present in it when people come to me with their concerns, their fears, their whatever, and that I can be present for it. And no, it's not about me my ego giving an answer. It's going to through, let spirit flow through me, and let's see what comes up.
Wow. Jack, what would you find hardest? Well, this is yesterday. I had Steve Hayes on the show. Do you all know Steve Hayes? Tired Old Queen at the Movies. Look him up. The funny, one of the funniest guys on the planet. And he had a very interesting answer when I asked him this question, and I'm going to ask you the same question. What would you find hardest about being in prison?
Oh,
no.
Well, I'm sure I'm not going to come up with what he said.
I'll tell you what he said after you tell me what you would say.
Probably missing my loved ones, my family, my friends, my husband, obviously, but just not having the love of my family and closest friends.
Well, that's his answer was being in prison.
Yeah.
So I want to let everyone know, I want to give away a mug. This is my own Richard Skipper Celebrates mug. And I'm going to tell you how you can get one. The word for today is competition. I'm going to bring up the word, and I'm going to ask each of you, when you hear the word competition, Teresa,
Yes.
what does that bring up for you?
Well, I used to race mountain bikes, and I raced mountain bikes for 12 years. And so that completely correlates with my 12 years of my life of competition. And then now I have a daughter that is an athlete. So now it's all going to her because now she's competing in a sport I know nothing about. And I try to help her, and I'm so bad at it because I don't know how to talk to her. And I just can only use my experience in competition if it relates. So that when I hear competition, that's really what I think about. And I've gotten away from competition because I don't really like it anymore. It's not my thing. I just want to make people feel good. I don't want to compete with anybody. So that's it.
Okay. Deborah?
An opportunity to increase your skills and to break it down one skill to the next and find out where you are on each of those skills. So competition can always be an opportunity if you look at it that way.
Okay.
Not very many people can break those compartments of what they do well down. Some might be a 10 at one, but they forgot that they're really only a 7 at another. And then they can break that down and figure it out.
Okay.
It's good.
Jack?
Competition to me is awesome, in my opinion. I think it builds you up. It builds your character. When you think of competition, a lot of times you think of sporting events or whatever. But when you're talking about something that I do, restaurant or cabaret, the more the merrier. There's room for everybody in competition when it comes to that. And I think, P-Town's a perfect example. And like you said, the winter, it's so quiet down here. There's no competition. Well, that doesn't make you get any better or stronger or compete. And competing doesn't mean it's negative necessarily. It means building each other up and finding, if a new restaurant comes into town, that only makes more people come into town, which makes us all better working together. So a lot of times people think competition is against one another, when actually competition can work as a whole unit, especially in a town like P-Town, that we all come together and compete together to make ourselves better, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, that makes sense. And thank you for saying that. That's brilliantly said. Jenny?
When you had the word competition, and I've immediately felt sort of like this little twinge in my stomach because I've always been very shy, and I kind of go away from competition, and I always say, oh, they're so much better than me, and this, that, and the other. And then I wouldn't apply for things. I wouldn't enter things because of all the competition. And so it's been a long journey for me personally to realize what you had said earlier, Richard. I'm not in competition with anybody except me. And to have the courage and to go forward. And I just have to be who I am, because literally there is nobody else out. I know it sounds cliche, But it's true. We are all unique, and I'm not really in competition with anybody except me.
Good for you. Sean?
Well, it's funny. My first thought as soon as you said it, and I've appreciated what everybody said, but that there's no such thing as competition. It doesn't exist. It's a made up thing. That's neither good nor bad. It's just made up. It's like me driving down the road and there's a stranger next to me, and we're both trying to get two different places first.
Oh, Sandra, you've got a
Well, all I have to say is confidence has no competition.
That's great. That's great. I will share with you, when I first started doing this, and Sandra, this very well. There's, right now, there are probably easily, if I had other channels open right now, I would be getting at least 50 notifications, at least, of shows that are happening right now. So the airwaves are saturated with people that are doing live stream shows and everything. I book someone on the show, and then I go, they're doing Seth Rudetsky's show, or they're doing Jim Masters, or they're doing Billy Masters, or they're doing this show. And it used to get under my skin because I wanted to have that exclusive interview. And then I wanted to start putting it out there that if somebody got booked to do this show, that there would be a window of time where they wouldn't do the other show if they were doing my show or whatever. And someone said to me, "You're operating from fear."
Yeah.
Because if they do 100 shows, they're not going to have the same experience they have on your show.
Indeed.
And that's all I need to hear.
Good for you.
And it changed the way that I approach everything that I do. And bring them on, do them all, and then come on my show. Or do my show and then do the rest. I don't care. Do 100 in one day. It doesn't have anything to do. And I, as you know, Sandra, I share all of the other shows. I'm all about sharing the wealth. And I love watching the others. And I learn from the others. And, so it's all a celebration. I think we lost Teresa. I hope that they come back. They're in Utah, and anything going to be happening in Utah. And I'm going to ask just one last question as we begin to wrap up. What is, Jenny, what was the most satisfying thing that happened to you this week?
Truthfully, I attended an opera called Intimate Apparel at the Lincoln Center. And I just, I loved hearing the voices. I thought they were absolutely wonderful. And also the story shows the struggles women have had. Now, it was primarily Black. There was a black couple, but it just also emphasized all the struggles that women go through. But yeah, it really was wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful. And then Sandra, what experience this week do you feel made you the wisest?
Saying no to potato chips. No.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
Made me the wisest. Probably just I suppose just really holding great space with the conversations that I've been having with people, whether they are conversations about being on my show or they're conversations just to network. Understanding that now is a different time. And I reconnected with a woman at the post office today that really deepened my understanding of this is it. My connection to building community post-COVID. I think I have a different sense of what I want from building community post-COVID. and connecting with this woman really showed me the wisdom in these times.
Wonderful. That's great. Teresa and Deborah, welcome back.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
The computer just turned off.
It just turned off on its own.
It happens.
Went to
Teresa,
potato chips.
what was the most satisfying display of instant karma that you experienced this week?
Instant karma. Ooh.
And I believe in instant karma, even if Bill Maher doesn't. So.
Wow, that's a hard one. I have to think back of my week. Oh, that's hard. Well, so I coach the cross country ski team kids, and Monday was our last day, and one of the kids was helping the kids that weren't as good of skiers and taking time to help someone with their bindings. And these are little kids. These are 12,
Wow.
13-year-olds. And he's probably the smallest in the group. And I'd never noticed him doing that before. And that was probably, I thought, well, there you go. The smallest kid in the group, helping the other kid up and showing the other one where to go. And that would be it.
That's wonderful. That's great. Deborah, did you ever experience in your life, this is just a general question, did you ever experience in your life a difficult situation in your career? And if so, how did you get through it?
All right. Well, there was a conductor, and it seems to me, I don't understand why most of the conductors are the perps, but he said, well, you really must meet me after rehearsal to work on your horrible French pronunciation. And lucky for me, my religious garments kept him from accomplishing his lesson. Yes, we wear special religious clothing. Like some faiths, they wear their promises to God on the outside, like a yarmulke, but we wear our promises on the inside because they're personal.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. And you're here and he isn't. So there you have it. That's karma. And Jack, what is something that you feel that you will never understand in your profession?
Arrogance and bullying. I will never understand it.
Same here.
I don't get it. I just don't understand it. It's not needed. I know it's insecurity on some people's part. I just don't comprehend how people are so arrogant or belittling to other people to make themselves feel better. It just makes no sense to me, and I'll never understand it.
And Sean, and this is an easy question. What activities this week gave you purpose?
Oh, putting 90 bins from our house into storage.
Wow.
Creating space.
Well, all of you being here gives me purpose. Don't go anywhere for a moment, because I'm going to give you each a chance to have your final word today. And I'm going to give you my final word. And my final word, again, and Sean put it out there perfectly, competition doesn't exist. As I said, and Jenny said it also, I've been thinking that just to compete to be better than I was the day before, is that competition? Maybe not. Maybe it is something that I've been competing with, something that doesn't exist. I find that by starting each day with a purpose of just getting out, I set my alarm clock with the sunrise, and I am out the door every day, and I go for a 30-minute walk. It's the first thing I do every day. And I know that if anyone sees me, they're going, there's that crazy man again. Because as I'm walking around in our neighborhood, I am talking out loud. I am verbalizing my thoughts for the day. And it really puts things in perspective with how I want to face the day. I come back in, and thank you, Julia Cameron, I start my morning pages, and I really set the tone for my day. And I advise you all to do that. I want to thank you all for being here. It means a lot when you show up. My show is Richard Skipper Celebrates for a Purpose. I want to celebrate life, art, artist, and we are all artists, whether you think you are or not. Everybody is an artist. Harry Collegian, Carol Channing's husband, used to say that if children are not exposed to the arts, they will not know the difference between a microphone and a xylophone. So we need to present art to each other and children, and it's important that we celebrate each other. I always end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. And this is an experiment that I'm going to ask everybody on the panel to do, as well as everyone watching. Go to your Facebook friends list and go to the fourth name that pops up and reach out with a phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know what they mean to you. As David Friedman, someone I think you know very well, Sean, says, we're all in this together, but we're not in the same boat. And I always say, if you're going to go out in a boat, make sure you bring a skipper along. Now, I'm actually going to leave the screen, and I'm going to give each of you a chance to have the final word. I'm going to start with you, Jenny, then Sandra, Sean, Jack, Deborah, and Teresa. And anything that we've talked about today that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish that we had, or just any message that you want to put out to anyone who's watching, it's your chance to give your final word. And Sandra, stick around, will you?
I will.
So don't go anywhere after the show, because I'd like to talk with you for a few moments about other issues as well. And everybody, thank you, and go out and make it a better tomorrow. And if you're around tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock tomorrow, Sam Harris is going to be here.
Oh, wow.
So please come back tomorrow. And everyone, and Teresa and Deborah, don't worry about how the show's going to end. Teresa, as soon as you say goodbye, the final credits will begin to roll. So don't worry about how.
Oh, okay. So I don't. Okay.
So I'm going to leave, and Jenny, it's yours. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Richard, for being on your show and for the opportunity of meeting my fellow panelists. It was really great. But my final word is hope. We must keep hope in our hearts. Yes.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And thank you, Richard. And great to see you, Sean, and to meet the rest of you. And please join me on Mondays at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc for The Edge of Every Day, for courageous conversations with friends and colleagues. Remember, we are always at the edge of the miraculous.
Beautiful. Join us, Unity Center of Norwalk, on Sundays at 10:30 on Facebook Live or in person up here in Norwalk, Connecticut. And the vote quote was from me, and David took it. Thanks, everybody.
Trust in yourself, believe in yourself. Know that this is really difficult times. Ask for help if you need it. We all need it right now. Love one another, care about each other, and know that we're going to get through all of this stronger and better.
My word is charity. That's most of what our work is all about, is giving something that's going to hopefully make a difference as we give what our talents are out to others. So give we love the shows that we're putting on together. We're enjoying being colleagues, and
Super fun.
Yeah, April 14th at the Triad, and there's also an on-demand with Metropolitan Zoom, so you can see it 2 weeks after the show. Love to have you join us, Teresa.
So I'm going to give you the great words of Justin Bieber. I know it's so funny, but I say this to myself all the time. Some people bring you a million blessings. Some people teach you a million lessons. All that I've learned, it's never my turn. It's never the right time. Some people come in your life for a reason, and some only come in your life for a season. That's it.
Thanks.
Thank you.